Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. As 7 years in the past of our Apollo Justice game, we continue on with the trial of Zach Gramalier, who says that there will be no conviction this day as Clavier Gavin tries to prosecute his first ever case versus the legendary defense attorney. Of course, he hasn't really become that legend just yet, in some senses. 7 years have to pass before then. How will Phoenix meet his downfall? Because we know that's where it's going. Let's continue with the case. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say I expected nothing less. We've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually. I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Better than you discover the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know. I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened? Ah, the way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You're scared, Trucy. Speaking of which, where is she? You've seen the problem yourself. The letter. The one shot in the forehead. One, right? Yes, and the reason he speaks of. I cannot deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death. Why not? This is something I will not say. For now, at least. What's this for now business? I've done many things in my life, some well, some poorly. But this is the cross we must bear alone to our graves. We? You wanted to know about the night of the incident? Finally, this guy sure likes to take his time getting into the important stuff. Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. And found there upon his bedside table, 2 pistols. 2? Yes, the one I had used on stage. And the one that had been used by my partner, Valant. Oh, for the Zach and Valant's quick draw thing? My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then, for a moment. You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him? Recalled there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first. So there were other requests you couldn't refuse before? To be honest, I've not always been steadfast, and I fear I brought pain upon Trucy. Was Magnifi coercing his disciples somehow? Just what was going on in Troop Gramalier? Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown! I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket. In your pocket? I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you will find it to be different than the one in my mentor. What were those called? Rifling marks. Yes. Well, that is all I have to tell you, concerning the case, anyway. Concerning the case? You mean there's something else you can tell me? Ha! Ha ha! You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright. Thanks. Yes, there is something. My mentor, his eyes opened. What? Magnifi Gramalier? The old devil. He was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him anyway. And there we had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. It was not a long discussion. Maybe 5, 10 minutes or so. What did you talk about? Haha! Mr. Wright, did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case. Zach Gramalier. He was pretty steadfast to me, or maybe just stubborn. Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom. Once again, I am in your hands. Right, let's get back in there. Well, everything we need is on our possession right now. We're obviously not going to get time to investigate. So let's just narrow things down and go from there. Court is now back in session. During our recess, a bullet was found in and dug out from the clown's head. Well, this is news. And rifling marks? There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis. But he did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon. Well, that's not very conclusive, is it? Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness. Your decisive witness? How many times have I heard those words? Though they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think. Oh, Don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production, being the other half of Troupe Galmarier's famous duo, Zack and Valant. Valant Galmarier. So we had to meet the great Magnafie's other disciple. Still with the twirling. Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation, while I gulp for air. Valant Galmarier, magician.
And you're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student your partner's guilt?
Fate, the grand illusion, filled with traps and tricks. Wait, the shooting took place in that hospital after 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late? If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes! Okay. I always get the characters, don't I? Yes, you do. But now that's Apollo's lot in life as well. You're a character too now. I have an interesting fact for you, you see. Several days before the crime, my witness received this.
That looks very familiar.
Wait, that's the same letter Zack Galmarier received. Yes, or perhaps I should say, ta-da!
What hair? Order! And what does it say? Surely not the same thing.
Perhaps you should see for yourself. My beloved student Valant, you are entrusted the task of lowering my life's curtain. Come on the 13th, 11:20 p.m. That's later, isn't it? 11:05. And the rest is exactly the same. Right then, apart from of course the name. Well, we're obviously going to receive this as evidence.
Why, it's practically the same. The court accepts this into evidence.
Alright, we've got Magnafie's letter number 2 now added to the court record.
This is most unusual. Exactly what was going on with you folks? What exactly was your Troupe Galmarier up to?
By which you mean?
I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them, no less.
It's just my opinion, Herr Judge. But from these letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them. We walked the magician's path together, and in so doing, shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there is strain, a warping of relations, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand. By which you mean you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse.
Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zack Galmarier, stands accused. Tell us why.
Oh, I'll do more than that. For where he walks, the red roses rise, singing hymns to the miracle that is magic. Fascinating. Though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as the suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the 2 bullets found at the scene.
In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time.
Ha 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 ha! As every magician knows, timing is everything, and every comedian too. Yes. And now it's time to get this party fired up. A new testimony, eh? The night of the crime. That night I visited the hospital room at the time Magnafie requested. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room and my mentor had taken his final bow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. The death sweet's kiss I gave to the clown. Then I informed the doctor and the police. We know what statement's the important statement here. It's gonna be the stuff about the clown, and pretty much just about the clown.
So you were the one who reported the crime?
Indeed, I would think. This fact alone would clear my name of suspicion. Let's not jump to any conclusions.
Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusions in this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant, Zack Galmarier, is guilty.
It's never to back his testimony up with evidence, I'd like to point out. And if it wasn't Zack Galmarier, then the killer was you, Valant. And no disappearing act will get you out of that. I mean, the other point on logic here is to simply, if you came there and saw the room and saw that he was shot in the head, Why would you fire the second bullet at all? I mean, even if there's some reason that you're beholden and have to do it, he's dead. He's not going to know about it. Why would you fire the other bullet? That just incriminates you further. Also, you know, it's stupid. Use the logic. Use the Force logic. That night, I visited the hospital room at the time Magnifi requested. Which, according to the letter, was 11:20 PM? Indeed. In magic, timing is everything. Right. Consider the illusion of teleportation. If I were to appear on stage before my stunt double has left, how would that look? Ha ha! Why, it would reveal the very secrets of my magic! Now that you've revealed the very secrets of your magic for all of us, let's move on. You went at the designated time, and what did you see? The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. So, you weren't worried for your own safety at all? I mean, you smelled gunpowder, yes? What if the shooter was still nearby? I did not consider this, to be honest. It is forbidden for a magician to have a good imagination. Really? Isn't magic all about illusions and imagination? How about this? You were the shooter, which is why you weren't afraid. But now you are the one imagining. It is forbidden for a lawyer to have a good imagination. The witness will refrain from pausing so suspiciously before responding. My forbidden imagination is starting to imagine things. I do not imagine my fellow students might have received the same instruction. Which brings us back to this reason neither of you could refuse. So it does, and my partner, he did not refuse. But Magnifi wrote the same thing to you. Why could you refuse if Zack couldn't? Because I have a will of steel! Of course. I also do this trick where I bend steel bars, so perhaps steel isn't all that strong. So which is it? Mind if I continue? Well, we got to the statement we're interested in. This has got to be it. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown. There were 2 bullet holes at the scene. One in the victim and one in the clown. You're saying the one who shot the clown was you? No doubt my partner Zack has said much the same thing. Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed murder. I better dig around here a bit more and see what I turn up. Mr. Valant, let me ask about something else concerning the crime scene. Namely, the bullet in the pistol, location of the pistol, or the number of pistols. That's the one we want to go for. How many pistols were there when you entered the room? By which you mean what, precisely? 2 pistols were used in the Zack and Valant quick draw shoot 'em, correct? One for each of you. You are well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night. What did Zack tell me back in the lobby? That there were 2. Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time, and found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket. I see no problem with that statement. Only 1 pistol is visible in the photograph of the crime scene after all. So you picked up that pistol and fired it? Indeed I did. Alakazam, Alakazing, Alakaboom. Is the number of pistols really so important? Yes, because it's a 1-shooter. It's a 1-shot golden gun, Scaramanga style. Number of pistols is quite important, Your Honor. Very well. Please add this detail to your testimony. What can I do but obey? Only 1 pistol was in the hospital room that night. With it, I shot the clown. Right, so that's been changed now. Is this what I'm looking for or not? That's the real question. That's the real question here. Maybe I can press this statement too. So you took the only pistol there and fired it? That's correct. And that pistol was this one, which was left at the crime scene? Good show, I see you too, I'm a magician of sorts. And you're an idiot of sorts. Do you have any idea what you just said? I see the fire in your eyes as you glare at the witness. So how about heating up this trial a bit? These slow ballads bore me. I've got a hunch, but maybe that's all it is. Maybe I should ask about something else. Really, that should be it. On second thought, let's run with this testimony for a while longer. So am I presenting the gun as a one-shooter, so if it's shot, it couldn't possibly work? Oh, don't to that statement. Is that it? Objection! Well, the lack of music is always a good sign. According to the defendant, Zach Lemarrier, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on that table.
2?
One of those pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead. Then he left with it in his pocket. Of course, this is what he would say. Unlike the hapless clown, we must assume our defendant has some brains in his head. Well, what about what Mr. Valant has told us? You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense.
What might that be? I told you, I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown.
That's your story, at least. But the rifling marks tell a very different story, Mr. Valant. Recall what Prosecutor Gavin told us. We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with a bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullets were a perfect match. Ah! Mr. Valant, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead.
Order, order, order! Well, this is all rather sudden.
What have I done?
Prosecutor Gavin!
I owe the court an apology. Sorry. Sorry for what? You see, I was unaware that 2 of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifling marks only proved the type of gun that fired them. But that's not what you told us before. You said you verified the murder weapon. Which is why I'm apologizing to you now. Quite sincerely, I might add. Would you hold me accountable for a mistake made in my youth? That was just this morning! I am still young. And I might add, it wasn't really my fault. If the defendant had only admitted he took 1 pistol from the scene of the crime, we would not be having this pleasant discussion now.
Valant Lemarrier.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are presented to this court as a decisive witness, but you've proven to be more divisive than decisive. Zing! Objection!
Really? You'll see, in time. The testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next.
Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin?
When Mr. Valant entered the hospital room, the victim had already been shot. As his next testimony will prove, right, the real fight is about to begin. Bring it.
Very well. The witness will now testify to the court. Help us determine who shot what. Who shot what? Who shot what? That's the question. Testify.
I arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20 p.m. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. No, he wasn't. What? We got an estimated time of death. How could he be clear? And the one in the room at that time was my partner, not me.
Those times are rather close, you have to admit. You're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes. To use a 10-minute discrepancy as the basis of your alibi.
It's easy to explain this situation, Herr Judge. For example, take our debut hit single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love. Cue to the song, press the play button, and it will play for 2 minutes 15 seconds. Do it 100 times, the result is the same. Their debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds long? What a rip-off! Magic's the world of utmost precision. Hocus pocus requires admirable focus. That's a nice line. And in the time of death determined by the doctor, there is incontrovertible truth.
Very well. The prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times, and we can expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision.
I would hope the defense refrains from its customarily broad, sweeping accusations, lest we blur the focus this case so clearly demands.
Point taken. Evasive remarks will result in a penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright.
Carry on. Right. So we want to be precise? Is this the kind of press and you mess up again thing? Well, if we're being precise, go for the well, you know, the one that stood out the most. How? I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb to say I have some doubts about this. How could the doctor be so precise with the time?
We do usually only get an estimated time of death, true. I'm not sure I've heard of a verified time of death.
Magic revels in making the complex appear simple, but reality is the opposite. What appears complex in this case is a simple matter of subtraction.
I see another person has done their arithmetic homework. Quick math.
The point here is the IV the victim was taking. It's quite visible in the photograph of the scene. Okay, what about it? Recall what we heard earlier about the victim, Magnifique Glamarier's schedule. Every night at 11, Magnifique took an IV drip for 30 minutes.
I can see the IV bag right there, yes.
Now look a little closer. Follow the tube down from the bag to the end. It's not in, yeah?
Ah! The needle's been removed!
And doubtlessly, it fell out when he was shot. Really? It looks kind of removed nicely.
That would seem to be the case.
When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips. Ah! You could just measure the remaining IV liquid. Precisely. The IV liquid functions for our purposes as an hourglass of sorts. This is how the doctor determined the time of death. From the amount remaining in the bag, it was determined that the IV had stopped 10 minutes after administration began. Right. Okay. And so it was when I, Valant, entered that room. 10 minutes had passed since that horrible crime was committed. And this is proof.
Well, Mr. Wright?
Does that seem important? Yes, it's obviously going to be very important. Well, seeing how it is the biggest clue we have to the time of death, I'd say it's very important.
Agreed. It'd be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time. Behold the power of arithmetic, yo!
Don't know why I'm doing that for the judge right now. He just sounds kind of slightly weird himself with, like, all his statements. But now I'm just going with it, I guess.
Very well. The witness will add this detail to his testimony.
Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. The water of life springs not eternal. The remaining IV liquid proves my innocence. Right, well, this is obviously what we're going for here. Let's, I don't want to present, I just want to look at the IV report. IV stopped 10 minutes after administration began. Touch the check button for details. 30 minutes required to administer full IV. For the amount remaining, IV stopped 10 minutes after administration began. So what are we going with here? Shall I press this statement? I don't feel this one's bad considering it's the additional statement. If I get a penalty, I get a penalty. Did you notice the IV yourself by any chance? When first I entered that room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead. And then his left arm did I spy, arose, drooping and wilted. Its form the discarded IV needle. Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot. Luckily for you. If that IV had not been there, why, you might be a suspect. Indubitably so. I might say it's thanks to my lucky colour. Your lucky colour? Indeed, even today I wear it proudly upon my suspect self. For it always, without fail, brings me luck. Why, when Zack and Valant won their first Magician's Grand Prix? Yes, the very one held by the Association of International Magicians. I can sneeze. Bless me. Sorry about that. It came up during the Association of International Magicians. Maybe it's remembering the past about these Association of International Magicians. I was not expecting that. Do I have a second one in me? I don't know. Random sneeze during filming. It is. Oh, there we go. That's the sound of me sneezing and a liar. My liar senses are tingling. I was adorned in this attire then too, and our trophy, a bust. Ah, what a day that was. This is one trip down memory lane no one needs. My lucky colour, yes indeed. And that IV too. I say I think 'twas hued especially for me, Valant.
Huh? That does seem to be the case indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, any thoughts on his testimony?
Well, it sure looks happy with himself. Okay, how about this lucky colour testimony? That's a contradiction. It certainly sounds like your lucky colours brought you plenty of luck, but not this time. Mr. Valant, your lucky colours betrayed you. I'm afraid you've lost me. Your Honour, the witness's testimony just now clearly contradicts the evidence.
What? Stop sneezing. Please recall my warning at the beginning of this cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Baseless accusations will be duly penalized. I do hope this latest accusation is well-based.
Don't worry, I've got all your bases right here. They belong to me.
Very well. Let's hear the defense's claim. Where is your evidence that contradicts what Mr. Valant has told us? Bang!
The crime scene tells all, Your Honour.
The photo of the crime scene.
All this talk of colour has me yearning for black and white, clear-cut simplicity. Tell us, Herr Wright, just where's the contradiction in this photo? My pleasure, and I assure you, it's quite simple. But I can't promise anything in black and white.
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What in this photo contradicts the witness's testimony?
The fact that yellow was the colour that adorns him right now, but it's not in the ivy bag. No, sir. No, sir.
Wah!
And he fell over. Valant Grelmaye, let's get one thing straight about your lucky colour. It's yellow, yes? It kind of takes the mystery out of it, but yes.
Something wrong with yellow, Mr. Wright?
Yes, there is. Decisively wrong, in fact. Take another look at the photo of the crime scene.
What's this?
Confusion, doubt. Tell us what your elderly eyes spy.
Even my elderly eyes can see a problem here, Mr. Valant. Look at that ivy bag.
Huck. What is this? What foul magic? With the K. It would be hard to call the ivy liquid yellow, and I'm afraid no magic was involved in the taking of this photograph. Cause no! Rabbits. Doves from his crotch? What?
Order, order, order! What does this mean?
Oh. This is some kind of mistake. Oh, excellent.
Yes, Prosecutor Gavin, your witness's mistake.
The greener they are, the harder they fall. I suppose there's no substitute for experience. Well, you were green once. Valant Grelmaye has reminded us several times. Your lucky colour is yellow, but the ivy is clearly not. Well, this contradiction can mean only one thing. He's got himself back together, and to think, he almost had me. I see your true colours now, Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright.
Something you'd like to tell us, Prosecutor Gavin? As far as this court can tell, the witness's testimony does contradict the evidence.
Yes, a contradiction. One that I shall be pleased to hand right back to Mr. Wright. How do you mean? How? Because the witness has made no mistakes. I agree at a glance. The ivy liquid does appear sort of greenish yellow. No, just green. Just green. But I assure you, the liquid itself is quite yellow. Oh.
Yellow liquid? How can you say that? As far as I can tell from this photo, it's green.
Yes, but there's another colour present. Yes, but what the colour is the ivy bag itself? The bag? You mean the plastic bag on the hook? Yeah, but this is fine too. Okay, right. If there's a yellow liquid inside a blue bottle, for example, for a drink, what colour does it show up as due to the filter and the colour mixing? It shows up as green. That's what we're going at now. But the point is, he should still say green regardless because he doesn't know the liquid is yellow. The bag? You mean the plastic bag on the hook?
It looks like, I want to say light blue.
Precisely. Figured it out yet? Put a yellow liquid in a blue bag and you get green. This, incidentally, is the liquid's true colour, but how did he see it?
I see. Your explanation does have the ring of truth to it.
Objection! Yeah, I'd object. As I thought. There's no substitute for experience, Prosecutor Gavin. That there isn't, and I've experienced a few games now, and I can see that that is completely wrong, but thankfully, it seems that Phoenix Wright is heading along the same track. Not every time in the game does it head around our logic strings that we expect it to. After all, it gets us to present things to really weird bits. The case 7 years ago continues on, spiralling to his, well, the conclusion that we already know. A lost case for Phoenix, but how will this loss come about?
Tune in next time for more
Apollo Justice.
Ace Attorney. Bye-bye.